Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. It's time to go around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. So on the docket for today, we are going to check in with Marriott with a booking issue that could cost you a few points or dollars. We're going to take a look at a Delta Fast Pass to get back into the Sky Club Lounge. The payment networks versus merchants war rages on, and then we'll close with taking a look at a very cool members-only Black Club Lounge, over in Singapore if you're ever so inclined to visit, let alone pay the annual fee for a Centurion card. So of course, if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, the biggest news of the week was the release of 2 new Marriott cards and the refresh of another. So both Chase and American Express have a new $250 annual fee Marriott card, and then the Marriott Brilliant card, which is with Amex, also received a refresh. Full video about that down below if you're interested, want to take a look at it in full detail. But going from that, we also have a Marriott, a little bit of an app hiccup, if you will. So if you've picked up one of these cards, or Marriott's been on a tear lately, you've picked up a lot of Bonvoy points, and you're looking to redeem, especially through app, you might run into an issue where they're actually trying to charge you, basically a fee to redeem your points for award night. So, this is definitely a more so, limited scale issue, but since Marriott's been in the news, I thought it was worth bringing to your attention. And so here you have it. Again, this is in-app, so Marriott's is forcing some users to pay a fee when redeeming points. It's been reported anywhere from $25 to $100, depending on the property. Again, it's not all users, and it's not all properties. The workaround right now seems to be very simple. Book through the website, which I personally find easier, unless you're kind of, on the fly trying to get a booking there. But overall, again, because Marriott's been doing a lot of points, things and points, bonuses, and cards, I think it is worth bringing to your attention. So keep an eye out for that if you are booking. Again, not to say doing it through the app won't work, but if you are, just make sure you're checking the final invoice before you press submit or pay. So with that, we're going to keep on the travel path and take a look at Delta. Now, lounges, they're always in the news as of late. This time, Delta's trying to do something else to kind of sort of combat overcrowding or lack of staffing. So the longest time now, Delta Sky Clubs have actually been playing around with like a little red ticket, like a fast pass, but this was limited to their Diamond and 360 Elite members, which basically just got them into the lounge much faster. Because if you're unfamiliar, you walk into the lounge, normally as a person where you show them your boarding pass and whatever card you're using to get in, but even though you can actually link your Platinum card or your Delta Reserve to your Delta account, so when they scan your boarding pass, they have everything they need and you go right in. Now, of course, sometimes when there's a super long line, it's hard to get in. Especially if you need to change your reservation or your booking, modify it in any way. One of the perks of lounges that is actually not really talked about that much is that while you're hanging out and waiting, especially for a delay or a layover or something, you can, stay in club and, fix your reservation very much easier than, tracking down the gate agent or something. Well, when these lounges are super overcrowded, they might not have enough staff to support everyone, so folks were having to leave the lounge, go find someone to help from the Delta team, and then coming back, but having to get in line again. So now what Delta looks like they're doing is they're, having these, I'm just calling them fast passes. We have Cedar Point close by, in Toledo, Ohio. You get a fast pass, you can skip the line to get on the roller coaster, right? Same kind of concept. So what they're doing here is, if you need help with a flight change, then you can get this fast pass basically to come back to the lounge. Now, I do believe you're going to have to ask for them, but you don't necessarily need to be an elite member. So this is kind of the way that they are trying to combat the overcrowding of the staffing issues. Seems more like a Band-Aid deal to me. Overall, I think the answer is probably more self-help check-in options, maybe. I don't know how you might have people try to sneak in, I guess. But overall, you would expect to not have to go through this hassle given what you have to pay to get into the lounge via the credit cards that grant access. Anyways, if you're more of a cell phone consumer here, maybe you're looking for the new iPhone or something like that, well, we have a new deal, at least in the mobile carrier space, for a potential credit card. Details are limited, but this comes from Bloomberg, which is basically saying, hey, T-Mobile is going to get their own credit card. So it's going to be a Goldman Sachs deal. So Goldman Sachs is signed with T-Mobile, and again, they're going to have the T-Mobile card. Now, we don't really know much about it at this point, other than they signed the deal. The Verizon Visa card overall, we've done a video on that. It's, pretty decent card to have some shortcomings. Of course, Goldman Sachs is pushing harder into the credit card space. They have the GM portfolio. Of course, they're most known for the Apple Card. So, it'll be interesting to see how it goes, right? Because on some level, you're also limited to the partnership. I don't know much about T-Mobile, but hey, this could be pretty good, and I'm a fan of new cards and more optionality, if anything else. So, of course, we will keep our eye out for that. Now, we're going to move to another story that we keep talking about here and there. That is the great war between payment networks, so Visa, MasterCard, Discover, and American Express, and merchants or retailers, right? This is always over what we call interchange fees. Interchange fees are the fees that, get basically split up between the payment processor, the payment network, and the issuer. Basically, they come out of the retailer or the merchant's pocket, which really means they come out of our pocket. Well, about 1,600 retailers and merchants have gotten together to sign a letter to send to Congress asking for them to step in and make a law around interchange fees. So if we take a look at this, again, Target and Walmart are kind of like the headliners. They're both fairly big, fairly popular retailers. But again, this letter that they signed, they want an option to route payments to different payment networks. We'll talk about in a second. So really here, I did notice or learn that, U.S. interchange fees are actually 7 times higher than anywhere else in the world. I think Europe's the next closest. They just said the industrial world, but we're only really talking about a few spots. And apparently debit cards do offer some optionality when routing, to different payment networks. Now, there is a quote here. So the chief financial officer of Visa, he commented, this was at a Goldman Sachs conference earlier in the week, saying that there's already a ton of competition in the credit card business and that reductions in interchange fees as a result of a new law could hurt that. So, I don't know, there's a ton of competition in the credit card space yet, but as far as payment networks, no, that's kind of the problem what they're getting at. They're not even really saying, hey, I want, lower fees or anything like that. Really what they're trying to say is right now it's almost... Monopoly is too strong than oligopoly, the one where you have a few different players. Because again, if it's a Visa credit card, that has to route through the Visa network because it's on Visa's payment network, Discover, MasterCard, American Express, that whole thing, which really allows the the payment networks to set whatever fee they want. That's how it works, and then you simply have to pay that fee. And as the merchant, you really don't have that much of a say because it's whatever card the customer comes in with. Yes, historically, people have turned down American Express and even Discover, but when it comes to Visa and MasterCard, you can't turn those down. They are the two most popular by far. So really what they're saying is we just don't have any way to fight this, and it's not really fair because they can set whatever prices they want. We have to deal with it. So really what they're asking is, hey, even if it's a Visa card, can I run it through the cheapest payment network? If MasterCard is cheaper, can I run it through that? It can still get it to the same place. So again, I believe we've talked about this before. It comes up at least once a month. I don't necessarily know that we need, government stepping in on this per se, but I think it is worth a look competition-wise, and I say that because at the end, it's probably going to become an issue for us, right? This does affect everybody. Now, the rewards people make it somewhat worse because generally the higher tier cards do come with higher interchange fees, but this could affect everybody, even the person paying with their local credit union card that's just a platinum whatever card that doesn't even give any rewards. They just know that they need a credit card. So, credit cards are here to stay. Payment networks are here to stay. The one ain't going to hold the bag for this at the end is us. So, I'm not really a fan of government intervention per se, but, at some point there's a thing like, hey, maybe we shouldn't get super greedy and take all the money, or we have talked about MasterCard rolling out additional perks and features to partnering with their payment network that could help, because then again, it's more of a value question, right? Like, what am I getting for paying this money more than anything else? But that still doesn't help their initial concern that I can't route it accordingly and have a level of competition. So we're going to keep an eye on this because I do think this is going to continue to wage on, and it might play a bigger part in our credit card space. So with that, now we will close on a more fun story. So this is for all you Centurion card holders out there, right? Which I'm sure you guys watch this show. So over, I believe it's in Singapore, they have the Centurion Haus, and it's like a kind of speakeasy type bar in type of a hotel. So, we just kind of found this story. It was submitted to us by Jeremy, friend of the show. I think it's pretty interesting. So just take a look at this, because if you're on the fence of getting your Centurion card and you're in Singapore, you fly through there often, this could sell you on it. So, of course, we have, we'll just put up some B-roll from the folks at Mile Lion who were so kind to write this piece and, take the picture. So credit to them, full link down below. But again, this is exclusively for Centurion card holders plus guests. Now, this opens daily from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. You can make reservations via the Amex Experiences app or Relationship Manager. There is complimentary parking if you're worried about that. You got to put your Bugatti somewhere. And of course, it's available for visitors. And then access for locally issued Centurion cards only, which seems a bit odd that you couldn't go here if you're traveling. Again, this is kind of like a hotel in Singapore, I believe it is. I think there's actually like a hat store, like a haberdashery might be the right word for that. Where you can get those like fancy like Boardwalk Empire fedoras, if you remember that show. Back in the day when I used to wear suits, actually a lot, like full suit and tie in the wintertime, I had some of those. They're pretty sharp. But overall, there you go. I think this is just kind of fun to look at and see. We don't necessarily, we usually only really talk about, platinum card lounges, but with your Centurion and platinum card, we don't really see too many perks get out or get the inside access to something that's just for the Centurion card. So overall, it looks pretty nice. Is it worth the card? No, but I would like to see them expand this out further, more Centurion card holders. I wonder how many Centurion card holders there actually are. I don't know. I would imagine more than you would think, really. But it is interesting. So, depending on the success here, I wonder if they'd make like a junior platinum version, because that is one way I think cards may have to kind of change direction. A lot of it right now is focused on travel and things like that. But, I think there is still room for, in probably major cities, like Singapore's pretty, big hub, right? But having more of the quote, lifestyle experience things that they were saying. Like Chase was playing around with Sapphire pop-up clubs before in New York. We've seen Amex do like pop-up restaurants and things like that. They both had some in stadiums, I think, where the Warriors play. I think where the Nets play, they have something like that as well. So I could see this, becoming the next thing, because then it really makes your card, worth having even when you're not traveling. But of course, you saw the shots. Let me know what you think down below. Does it look pretty sweet? Would you go if they had one here, if you had even a platinum card maybe? Love to get your thoughts on that. But anyways, guys, that has been the news for this week. So, of course, you would like to drop me a thumbs up down below. If you find it particularly interesting, of course, consider subscribing to the channel, as we're posting content just like this every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Of course, right back every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. Again, if you've already checked out the Marriott upgrade videos, update videos, let me know what you think about that, as well as the rest of these stories. What do you hope the T-Mobile card has, and anything else you've seen in the news as of late. Love to chat with you guys down below. But anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you on Monday.